Hello friends! Welcome back to my channel, and today's video will be a reading vlog. So right now it is Monday, and can I just say, it's freezing. It is so cold. I don't know whether it's just outside or in my house, but I have not been this cold in so long. I'm literally sat next to a radiator and it's on and I just cannot get warm. So already so far today I've had so much tea, so much coffee, so much hot water, so I'm a little bit giddy, a little bit jumpy, a little bit nervous. But regardless of all that, the reason I want to vlog is because I am reading Assassin's Quest by Hobb. And this is the third book in the Farseer trilogy and the end of the first trilogy within the realm of the Elderlings. Do you know what? I think I'm getting better at explaining this series, I'm not going to lie. The reason I'm choosing to do a vlog about this particular book is because the first two books are so good and I've gone on such a journey with them, from starting out not really sure whether I would like them to then kind of like trying to find my way, get into the world, understand the characters a bit more across book one. And then book two was quite a slow reading journey for me. And whilst I really enjoyed it every time I read it, it did take me a while to get through it. But now I'm fully there. The end of book two was amazing. Now I'm like obsessed. This world is fantastic. And I just want something to document my roller coaster of emotions throughout this book. I am a chapter in. I started this last night, so I'm already one chapter in, and Goodreads tells me that's 4% of the way, so not doing too bad, pretty good going. I'm going to try and aim to finish it this week, and this will be famous last words because it is over 800 pages long, which will be the longest book I've ever read if I manage to complete it. So I'm not putting loads of pressure on myself to finish it this week, but I would really like to. I am reading both physically and on audio. I have the audio book through Scribd, so that will hopefully help get through it a bit more. And I'm just going to dedicate a bit more of my sort of downtime to picking it up and just reading through it. I read all of Royal Assassin on audio. I really liked the audio books. It took me a minute to get into them, but once I did, I really liked them. I did want to try and physically read a big chunk of Assassin's Quest, so that is my quest for this vlog. That was the worst thing I've ever said, but we move. So count this as checking one. So far, I am really enjoying it. The first chapter was jam-packed full of stuff. It picked up just a little bit of time after book two finished and has kind of taken us quite far actually on already. And it's just so nice to be back with these characters after a day and a half of not reading a Robin Hobb book. But the characters are so well done, and I'm really liking Fitz a lot more. Towards the end of Royal Assassin, I really started to appreciate and like him a lot more. He got much more of a personality. He was a bit more wittier and also a bit more flawed. Whereas I thought in Assassin's Apprentice and quite early on in a Royal Assassin, he was just a little bit wet. So yeah, I am really liking where he's going. He's been through a lot, so I'm excited to see what happens in Assassin's Quest and how this kind of sets Fitz up for the rest of the series. I also cannot wait to just get back to Ketrican and the Fool, and both respectively have been my favourite characters throughout so far. I'm really excited for later series because I know that the Fool has his own kind of trilogy that focuses a lot on him. So looking forward to see how Assassin's Quest sets that up. But yeah, so far so good. I'm in a really good mood today, so let's see how we get on. Hi friends, just a really quick check-in. I finished work about an hour and a half ago-ish, and I read 2 more chapters of Assassin's Quest. So I'm now about 75 pages in. So with my really basic maths, I'm going to say I'm around 8% of the way through. I figured out that if I want to finish this week, I will need to read over 100 pages a day, which, to be really honest, I'm not sure how doable that is, but if I've got support from the audio, I might actually do it, but we'll see. So far, 3 chapters in, and still really enjoying it. I think it's so funny to me how dumb Fitz can be. Like, something happened in book 2 between him and Molly, and it was very, very clear what Molly was saying. Like, I don't know if we were supposed to know what Molly was saying and that Fitz wasn't. And because the books are told from Fitz's point of view, it was, oh, that is wonky. Oh, is that any better? Anyway, I'm not sure we were supposed to understand what Molly was saying in book two, but I kind of picked up on it and then it's on the blurb of this one. So I was like, okay, yeah, I was right. But Fitz still doesn't get it, and I appreciate the guy's been through a lot. You know, he's had a lot going on. It is what it is, but I also know that it's very obvious. Like from what she was saying, I was just a bit like, you've got to be dunce to not understand this. But Fitz chivalry is not the smartest tool in the box at times, but that's why we love him. So yeah, so far so good. Obviously still enjoying it, but still really not even scratching the surface just yet. We've had a big recap now already of the events of book two. So Fitz has done some reflection on what's happened, and Robin Hobb has done the thing of, okay, we're getting into the story now, so I'll just remind you of everything that happened in book two, and then we can crack on. So now I feel like we're going to crack on and then get really into the story. I am struggling to hold this book when I read it physically. Um, so maybe by the end of this week, I will just have the best arms in Yorkshire, and I hope I do. But right now, I am going to go off and cook some tea, and then I will listen to the audiobook as I cook, and probably check in tomorrow. I don't think I'll check in again later today, so I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hello, friends. Today is Wednesday, and to be honest, I feel like this week is going on forever. I keep thinking like I'm a day ahead. So I woke up this morning, started work, and thought it was Thursday, and it wasn't. And I just feel like I'm really struggling to get back into the swing of normal life after Christmas because this is my second week back at work, my first full week. So I'm just kind of like I'm flagging a little bit, but we'll get there. I have updates. I didn't check in yesterday, but I did get some reading done. So now I am on chapter 10, page 219 of Assassin's Quest. To be fair, my thoughts from my last check in haven't changed that much. I am still absolutely loving this, and I think so far it is definitely my favourite instalment. We are spending so much time with Fitz, and we've not really had, apart from Burrich and Chade right at the start, and then some other minor characters, and of course Night Eyes, but predominantly we've literally just been with Fitz, and obviously it's told from his point of view, so we're spending so much time sort of in his head, and it's just so good. Like he's so ruthless in this book. Like his character development throughout the series has been really great, and in this book he is so ruthless and so reckless, and I'm really enjoying it. It's making it such an exciting read because I genuinely cannot discern what he's going to do next. Like he has this plan in his head, and basically he's not going to stop at anything until he completes it. I'm enjoying it so much. It's so good. Like I said, still haven't met Ketrican or the Fool or anything yet, so I'm excited to see what's going on with them when we get there. But for right now, I am loving, just absolutely loving being with Fitz. Right now, I'm a Fitz stan. So yeah, I am on track. I need to read my pages for today, so I'm still averaging about 100 and odd pages a day. So like I say, I'm on 219 now. I'm hoping to be at maybe 320, 340 by the end of today. I'm going to do a bit more reading after work, and then I will also listen to the audiobook whilst cooking. And yeah, we'll see how we get on. I will probably check in again tomorrow, but hopefully I am much further in, because it feels like I've still got so long to go. I mean, which I have, to be fair, got that much to go. But yeah. Hi friends, long time no speak again because it's now Tuesday the week after. So I can't remember fully when I last checked in. Was it like Wednesday time last week maybe? The reason I'm not really kept checking in is kind of twofold. So one is I just got kind of busy towards the end of last week, and then I was busy over the weekend. And the second reason is because I've not really had much more to say about Assassin's Quest. And the reason for this isn't because I've stopped enjoying it or that there's nothing happening. It's just because I've just kind of been enjoying the story and really absorbed in it. So in terms of a pages update, I'm just about to start chapter 30, which is page 633. So really, really not long left now at all. The one thing that I will say about this is it's definitely, and I saw Katie say the same thing, it's definitely a book of two halves. So I think the last time I checked in, I was coming up to the halfway mark, and I was either there just over it or just getting up to it. And it's at this point where something kind of changes, something happens, and we stop just being with Fitz, and he's now sort of with other characters that we have met previously in the series, and the story's moving on a bit more. So the one thing that I will say is that, and it's probably taken me a bit too long to kind of click onto this, but I finally got there in the end. And that is, if you are an action reader and you like your books to be full of action and full of suspense and full of drama and really tense fighting scenes and things like that, this book especially, and maybe even the others, well, yeah, definitely the others, probably not for you. And the reason for that is because I have found there is a lot of standing around and talking, or walking and talking, or internal monologues. And I love that because I definitely have become, not just through the series, but as I've sort of become more mature in my reading, I've definitely become more of a character reader than I have a plot reader. And I really, really enjoy getting under the skin of characters and sort of understanding them on quite a deeper level. And that's not to say nothing happens in this book, because plenty is happening. I'm stressed and I'm nervous and I'm anxious and I don't know what's going to happen. But when the action is there, it's really, really good and really exciting. But I do find it is quite few and far between. And that's just a statement for across the series, really, which is fine by me. Like I say, I am definitely a character reader. I think it really lends itself well to this series because even like the assassination style is all kind of sleight of hand, like poisoning a drink or like rumors that might lead to somebody else doing the work. It's kind of like really, really interesting and political way of doing it, which I'm really, really loving. And just kind of made me realize that I enjoy it so much. So now I'm kind of looking at other series for in the future that are very similar. So yeah, just 200 pages to go, also I think just under 200 pages. I don't know what percentage Goodreads wise it would be, but I'm very excited and I'm really, really enjoying learning so much more about the Fool. Like, I feel like we've learned more about the Fool in these past 10, 15 chapters than we have over the course of 2.5 books. And it's just making me really excited for the Fool's trilogy. I don't know what it's called, like the Fool's Fate and that kind of, and those books. Yeah, I think the Fool might actually be my favourite character after Night Eyes. I don't know if my next check-in will be when I've finished or if something happens as I read later on this week and I just feel the need to come and vent. But I'm really hoping to get this done before the weekend because I have all of next week off work and I want to get this finished so I can wrap this series up. Then I'm going to plan on reading something a bit easier, maybe like a middle grade. I might pick up a Percy Jackson book or something. And then next week, I'm not sure what I'll read, but that's not relevant to this vlog. So with that, I will now leave you with a nice video that I got over the weekend because I went on a walk to catch the sunrise and got some video footage of it, and I just kind of wanted to put in here because I thought it'd be cute. So here you go. I finished it. I have finished, and honest to God, I am still absolutely reeling. So I finished this last night. So today is Thursday. So I finished it Wednesday night, and I swear to God, I have not stopped thinking about it since. I woke up this morning and it was the first thing that I thought about because it was just so good. When I last checked in, I think I said I had like 200 pages left or so. Got through 100 of those. When I sat down last night, I had about 100 pages to go. And I just knew, I knew that was going to be it because it was easy enough to do. I was cooking, so listening to the audiobook, and I thought, this is it. I'm just going to finish it. And when I tell you that, I got to the point where I finished cooking, I had that pause for a bit, had my tea, then picked it back up and I had like 3 chapters left. No, I had 4 chapters left. And I decided to go and play some Sims because I'm on a bit of a Sims binge at the minute. So I was playing Sims and it got to a point where I was like, no, I need to stop because I really need to just take all this in because I was getting towards the end of the book. So I closed my game down, and for the last 3 chapters, I literally just sat there staring into space. I looked like a proper idiot, but I just sat there staring into space and listened to the book because I was so hooked into the audio. I was like, I felt like if I'd have switched over and started reading physical, it would have been a mistake. So I just sat there and just let it all happen. And I cannot believe that I have gone for 3 books thinking, oh, this is a good fantasy series. The fantasy elements aren't massive, and that's totally fine because they weren't. I feel like in Assassin's Apprentice and Royal Assassin, they were very, very pared back. And then throughout all this book, again, very prevalent, definitely a lot stronger when we learn more about the skill and the wit and a bit more folklore and legends um, around the Six Duchies and the realm of the Elderlings just in general. And then in the last 100 pages, she just introduces like a huge fantasy kind of element that I just was kind of hoping for, but had no signs of previously. There was like hints, and I was like, is this going to come to fruition? Is this going to happen? I know that later books have certain elements in, but I was like, what's going to happen in the next 100 pages that hasn't already happened or that we've not already seen? Well, I feel like she must have known she was going to write this entire world by the point she finished Assassin's Quest, because Assassin's Quest, the ending could wrap it up. I feel like you could read this trilogy in silo and then never pick up another Realm of the Elderlings book again, and you would be absolutely fine. I think it wraps it up nicely. But for me, knowing that I'm going to go into the other books, knowing I'm going to go into the Live Ship Traders and the Tawny Man and Fitz and the Fool and the other series that I don't know what it's called, knowing I'm going into that, this ending for me of Assassin's Quest just felt so bittersweet because I was like, the ending made me quite sad. Not because anything sad happens, but because I just felt a bit kind of, I don't know, a bit reflective. Like all this stuff's happened. The characters don't know what's more to come, even though I know there's more to come. Fitz is just such a great character, and I really, really, really warmed up to him in those last chapters, especially. Like this book in general, I've really warmed up to Fitz, but the last few chapters, I don't know, my heart just kind of bled for him a little bit. And Night Eyes, everyone deserves a Night Eyes, and I think Night Eyes is my favorite character so far. I love him so much. And the Fool as well, like last half of this book, where the Fool is really prevalent and we learn so much about him. I feel like he's just scratching the surface and we're just starting to learn about him. So I'm just super, super excited to find out what comes next. I feel like the characters in this were just phenomenal. I feel like the story, genuinely, at no point throughout this entire book, throughout this entire series, did I know what was going to happen next. Like, I thought the ending was going to go one way, and I thought certain characters were going to get their comeuppance in pretty standard traditional ways, and I was fine with that. I was more excited to learn how they got there and how that happened, and I was just completely wrong. Like, this didn't end how I thought it would. You know what? I actually prefer this ending compared to the one that I had in mind. So that was really, really good. It was just a phenomenal book. It was an instant 5 stars. Like, I think I knew that quite early on. At certain points towards the end, there were moments where I was like, I'm still enjoying this, but is it going to start slowing down and am I going to lose sort of the momentum? And every single time that kind of potentially started to happen, something like huge just kicked off, or someone said something, and I was drawn right back in. And it just really is a testament to Robin Hobb's writing that there are about 3 or 4 characters in this book that we don't actually see interact with Fitz or anything, but because of his skill power, he kind of knows what's going on in their life and we get their updates. So I feel like certain characters were in this book. And actually, when you look at the story, they weren't in it. They didn't know anything that was happening. But it just felt like they did, and it felt like they were there. And I can't describe it without giving too many spoilers, but genuinely, hands down, maybe one of the best books I've ever read. No, it definitely is one of the best books I've ever read. And I've heard that the series just gets better and better. So I'm still processing all my thoughts. I'm thinking of just writing everything down in a Goodreads review. But for now, I'm just completely reveling in the fact that one, not only have I finished, and this is now the longest book I've ever read, I think 838 pages. So I'm proud of myself for that. And two, that I am fully like in this now. I am in the realm of the Elderlings. I'm a Robin Hobb stan, and I'm just so excited to see what's next. And I'll have a bit of a wait to find out what happens with Fitz and the Fool and things like that in future installments, just because I have the live ship traders coming next. I'm going to try and read the series in chronological order, which I know you don't have to. I know it's not a requirement, but I think depriving myself of these characters for a bit will make me even more excited to pick up Tawny Man. But before I do any of that, I am going to just take a step back, have a bit of a breather from this intense fantasy, and just read something quite easy. So yeah, I guess it's time to really wrap up my thoughts, not just on Assassin's Quest, but just on the series in general. All in all, I encourage anyone that reads fantasy or enjoys fantasy or is trying to get into adult fantasy to pick this series up, because I wasn't sure like I would enjoy it. So when I looked at Assassin's Apprentice, I was kind of glad it was like only 300-ish pages, because I didn't think it was too much of a commitment. If I'd have looked at Assassin's Apprentice and it had been 800 pages, I might have been put off a little bit, because although I love fantasy and I love adult fantasy, I'm not very familiar with this kind of setting where it's a bit more like kings and royals and courts and like that medievally inspired setting. Yeah, I was really unsure. But I really didn't need to be. And knowing that I enjoyed this so much is making me excited, not just to pick up more Robin Hobb books, but to pick up books like Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series and any other books sort of along these lines. That's pretty much where I'm at in terms of my next steps for reading adult fantasy. I thought the series was absolutely phenomenal in terms of character development and just characters in general. I never quite experienced a writer like Robin Hobb, and the way she writes these characters, just flawless. Just great writing all around. And now I feel like I'm just rambling a bit, because I'm like gushing with how much I love it. So I'm gonna cut this a bit short, because I'm just taking up way too much of everyone's time. If you've watched this video and you have got any interest whatsoever in reading these books, I've tried to keep this as spoiler free as possible. So I really hope that if you have watched it and not read any of them, nothing has been spoiled for you with this. Please pick them up. Please just give it a go. See if you like it. I've had loads of people on Instagram tell me how much they kind of want to read this, and they've been a bit intimidated. I totally understand. I'm right there with you, but it was great and I really enjoyed it. If you have also got this far, and whether you've read the books or not, thank you so much for watching. I've really enjoyed doing this vlog, and I feel like I'm so bad at remembering things when it comes to books. I forget character names, I forget plot points, and I see people online who are just able to like whip up book references like that, and it's just like could never be me, because I just forget, like I really do forget. So it's been nice to document this and maybe even look back on when I go to pick up any later installments of the Realm of the Elderlings, and just see how I felt and the journey that I went on, especially with this book, because this has definitely been my favourite of the series. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you'll stick around for future videos. If you like this, just give me a comment or a subscribe or a like or something to let me know that you enjoyed it. And if you want to follow me on any other social platforms, I've got all links below. Come talk to me about books. I'm always happy to talk about books, especially books like Assassin's Quest. I will bid you now farewell. Have a great day and chat soon. Bye.